Using bring your own devices in a classroom is a wonderful thing, but we really want to be able to get material not just from our teacher's computer, such as using the offdanet system, but from the student devices back onto the teacher's computer so that we can record what writing they've done. So we're looking at getting written work back from the bring your own devices to the teacher's computer. And to do this, we're going to have to set up a PHP database. Sounds complicated, but it's not. To run our server in the classroom with offdanet, we're using this USB server program, and we have as part of that a MySQL database already running, and we have a PHP MyAdmin button that's already sitting there. This is where we're going to set up our database. To actually get it to work, we're going to have a link, we're going to have a uWrite area. I already had that, which just let us record material that the student could then show the teacher, but in this case the uWrite material is going to take me to a page where the student can write their name in, and then they can go ahead and write in whatever it is that they are going to submit to the teacher. And this is my work. Hopefully they've written a bit more than that, and they're going to go ahead and submit that, and that's going to go to the teacher's computer, and we're going to have a look and see how that actually works. Now, what's going on in the background, remember we have our template system. We've got all of our different areas here. Each of these, if you remember, our buttons and things like that are based on an index page that has data, but they're always just an index page, and it's very much the same with our writing area. We have a straight index page. We have two other files in here, the written PHP, which is what is sending the material, and the submissions PHP, which is what's going to let us to be able to read the material once we've finished. You're not going to be changing those at all as you were changing the index files in the other areas. You're not going to change these ones. They remain exactly the same. What you're going to have to do though is to create an area that this uWrite is going to put it to, and that's going to involve us going to this PHP admin. But before we do that, let's have a look. Okay, so I've sent some material here. Where is that gone? So I've got my teacher's version here, and I'm going to go into another area. I haven't set up a proper button for this yet. I've just got it sitting down the bottom here, and I've called it submissions, and there you can see that that was the submission that I just put in. If I come back over here, let's write another one. Anthony again. Here is some more work. We'll go submit, and if we refresh over here, there it is, it's come in, and you can see it's got a date stamp over here. It's telling me exactly when that work was submitted plus my name. The date can be quite useful in terms of recording material, but also in terms of knowing who was first to submit material and exactly when it came through. Now, this is sitting in a database, but we can actually quite easily take whatever has been written in here. We just highlight it and drag and drop it, and there it is in a Word document, and I can save it, or I can distribute it, I can do whatever I like with it. So very easy for me to be able to extract the material from the page that I've got here. What we're wanting to do though is to look at how we're going to set up this database. We're going to set up a database called submissions and a table called writing, and we're going to create 4 fields in that, and once that's done you'll have that to match up with the offdanet template that you've got here. So until you have that, when you click on this uWrite, it's not going to go through and be able to make a connection. It's going to say that there's an error there. I also have, sitting in the back here, I've looked at how I could make some group versions of this. So instead of it being one student submitting individually, I can have a group of students and they might want to do a submission. So I've got 3 students working with one computer. They don't put a name now, they just put their material into group 1, and I'll find their material in the group 1 area. So that's going to be a separate setup. So we're just going to pop that one in there, and let's pop back out here, and we'll put something in group 3 as well. We'll submit their work. Okay, so let's have a look at how we were actually creating these things. We're going into the PHP admin area. Now, when you first log on to this, actually I was already logged on, so there we go. A bit slow getting in, but it's taking me directly in instead of the sign-in page. So we come to this area here. We have two databases that are here. There will be one already when you first sign in called test. We're going to create a new one called submissions. Quite straightforward. I'm going to click on my submissions here, and you can see here's the one that I'm looking for, the writing. That's the one I've created. So I've got a database called submissions, there it is there, and a table called writing, which is this one here. And these other ones here are the groups area you can see over here. We're only going to concentrate on the first one in this video. So we're going to go into the writing, and you can see here those are the two entries that I've just put in. And if I want to get rid of those, I can delete individual ones, or I can delete everything that's in there for the day. Just click on delete. Yes, I want it to go away. When I come back here and refresh, they've completely disappeared. So it's a good job that I had my Word document copy over here, isn't it? So I can save that instead. So what we're looking at within the writing area, if we come into the structure here, you can see I have got 4 fields. The 4 fields being the the ID, which gives a number to each of the entries. So that's just an automatically incrementing number. So it's set over here to automatically increment. Student, which is going to be the name of the student, my work, and time. And when you create this, you're going to have to make sure you get exactly those same spellings and exactly those same fields. Otherwise, you'll have to go back and change the actual documents that are submitting the material. So it's easier just to stick to exactly what I've got here. Student, my work, time. And we create a field called ID, and then it will match up. In the same way, you're going to create the database called submissions with an S on the end, and in that you're going to have the table called writing. You have to get those exactly the same, otherwise it won't match, and you'll have to go back and fiddle and adjust the names either here in the tables, which you can change, or back out in the actual files, which is a little bit more difficult to do. So relatively straightforward. If we wanted to create a new one, we'd just come in here and go new. What's my table name going to be? Well, it would be writing, but I've already got one called writing, so just bear with me as I call it writing 2 so it doesn't cause some problems there. In here, I'm going to have ID, and we need that one to have a certain attribute. It's got to be automatically incrementing. So that's what the AI stands for here. We want that to create a number and go up by itself, and we can leave the rest of that alone. The next one we wanted was student, and that's not going to be integer, that's just going to be text, and we can leave everything else alone for that. We want my work, and that's also going to be text, and the last one is going to be time. And this is going to be, of course, a date stamp of time. So we don't just want date, we're going to come down and here have a time stamp. So it gets all the information that we want in there. Okay, and we can leave the rest of those just as they are. We just go ahead and go save. Okay, so it's given me a second one sitting in here. If I go in and have a look at it, I go to the structure, you can see, yeah, that's looking pretty good. I come back to this one, I go to the structure, yep, it's the same. I've got my date, time, I've got my work, my student, and my ID, so that's ready to go. So as long as you've made one called submissions and called writing, you'll be away. So I think you'll find that this is actually quite a useful way of getting material. We have a submissions area where we get to see what's actually been written. You wouldn't necessarily have that on your web page. You could just have a link to that on your desktop, so the students don't go into that. It's up to you as to whether you want to have that there. But we have a UWrite area that lets you get material from the student's device to your teacher's device. To set it up, we're using a program we already have. We're just going into the PHP MyAdmin area, creating a database, creating a table, and creating 4 fields. Good luck.